Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. You can watch this program live on our Facebook page, that's Radyo Pilipinas World Service, and you can also hear us live on audio streaming at Evox PBS Receiver app. So join us for another edition of Front and Center with your host, Jerome Toledo.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Following the discussion from last week, which is the discussion of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s to all his cabinet officials to file courtesy resignation, just an update, folks, as of Sunday, around 52 cabinet members and government heads have already submitted their courtesy resignations upon directive of Marcos Jr. as part of his bid for a government reset. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has decided to keep Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin and other 5 cabinet secretaries. So they are Trade Secretary Maria Cristina Roque, Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, as well as Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman, Economic Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, and Special Assistant to the President for Investments and Economic Affairs, Frederick Go. Executive Secretary Bersamin said there will be more careful evaluation of the performance of the heads of government agencies and offices, as he assured the public that more actions will be coming as Marcos wants to be responsive to the popular clamor of the public. So let me play a portion of the press briefing on Thursday as Palace press officer PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro, where she read the statement on the president's decision to reshuffle his cabinet by calling for courtesy resignation of all high-ranking cabinet officials. Let us listen in.
It's time to realign government with the people's expectations. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has called for the courtesy resignation of all cabinet secretaries in a decisive move to recalibrate his administration following the results of the recent elections. This is not business as usual, the president said. The people have spoken and they have expect results, not politics, not excuses. We hear them and we will act. The request for courtesy resignations is aimed at giving the president the elbow room to evaluate the performance of each department and determine who will continue to serve in line with his administration's recalibrated priorities. This is not about personalities, it's about performance, alignment, and urgency. Those who have delivered and continue to deliver will be recognized, but we cannot afford to be complacent. The time for comfort zones is over. This step marks a clear transition from the early phase of governance to a more focused and performance-driven approach. The president emphasized that while many have served with dedication and professionalism, the evolving needs of the country require a renewed alignment, faster execution, and a results-first mindset. Government services will remain uninterrupted during this transition, and the President reiterated that stability, continuity, and meritocracy will guide the formation of his leadership team moving forward. With this bold reset, the Marcos administration signals a new phase, sharper, faster, and fully focused on the people's most pressing needs.
That was PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro. So you heard her. So recalibrate, reset. Whatever the words that the press officer or Palace Press Officer has used during that press briefing, one thing is for sure, and that aims to review performance and to review and to align the direction of the government. So we are going to watch out for more developments of which secretaries or cabinet officials will be retained under the Marcos Jr. administration, as well as officials that will be let go by the Marcos Jr. administration. So last Wednesday, so we had an interview with the political analyst, that's Professor Froilan Kalilong, and he shared an analysis on this reshuffle on the Marcos Jr. administration's cabinet. So let's take a look.
There are different angles that we need to see, and that we need to really calibrate this move on the part of the president. There are several layers of implications and possible analysis that we could actually derive from this. One of which I believe is leadership consolidation. I think the call for courtesy resignations like this allows the president to reassess and potentially restructure his cabinet to ensure alignment with his administration's priorities. And I think this move will provide probably an opportunity to bring in new leaders who can drive the government's agenda more effectively. And I think this comes in the wake of the outcome of the 2025 elections. And also I think this could be partly attributed to the decreasing, or to the relatively I would say decreased trust and satisfaction rating that was given to the president in the weeks before the elections. But on the flip side, we also could see that this could be a move to heighten accountability and performance. Remember that whenever we request resignations, I think what is important here is the reason behind. One of which is how we could underscore the importance of accountability among his officials. So I believe that moves like this, which is I think which comes very surprising actually, given the fact that we are already in the midway of his administration. It sends a message that performance is being closely monitored, and that changes will be made if necessary in order to meet the expectations of the Filipino people. So again, we look at from the perspective of the president here, we're seeing a president that somehow listens and is responsive to the calls of the public, of the people. Also, this could be a political strategy, as this action, I think, could also serve to address any possible internal challenges within the administration in order to demonstrate responsiveness to public sentiment following the midterm elections. However, I'm also seeing here that there might be some concerns, particularly with the continuity of the programs and the policies that have been
Yes.
already laid down by the this respective cabinet officials, who may have not seen this, or who may not have foreseen this coming. All right. For instance, DOTR Secretary Vince
Yes.
Dizon, who was just appointed last February, I think is
Right.
doing a fairly good job in
Yes.
the
Right.
transportation department. And I think he has some very good and well-meaning long-term plans already in set for the department. But he himself is not spared from this mass
Yeah. Massive
courtesy
call. Yes.
resignation. So that leaves some kind of a challenge as well for the president, if he will be able to retain people like this, or Is he going to replace it with an entirely new lineup for his
Uh,
cabinet?
you just heard Professor Froilan Kalilong, political analyst. So, a quick takeaway from that interview. So, he believes that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s call for courtesy resignation of all cabinet secretaries is a way of realigning the directions of the government to efficiently deliver its service to the Filipinos. So, Professor Kalilong also noted that this move will provide an opportunity to bring in new leaders who can drive government's agenda more effectively and heighten accountability and performance. So we just witnessed last week, specifically Friday, that there's a reshuffle of cabinet secretaries. So former Energy Secretary Rafael Lotilla was transferred to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, while its incumbent secretary Maria Yulo Loizaga has been replaced, and we don't know if a government position will be open for her. While the HSUD or the Housing Secretary Rizalino Jerry Acuzar was replaced or was transferred to another position, which is handling the Pasig River Commission. That's a secretary level. While the housing secretary will be, or the housing department will be led now by an engineer. We don't have a name yet, but surely there will be changes in that department. So more more changes and more revamps and more reviews of the secretaries of the Marcos Jr. Cabinet is underway. So, but before we go to our commercial break, so there's a development this week. So, particularly the visit of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s in Malaysia to attend the 46th ASEAN Summit. So, the president will engage ASEAN leaders to tackle regional and global challenges, including developments in the South China Sea, the Myanmar situation, maritime security, climate change, as well as economic volatility and digital disruption. So at the same time, the president will speak to ASEAN leaders to promote ethical and responsible artificial intelligence or AI regional framework. So as included in that summit is the emphasis on the importance of building a future-ready ASEAN that is not only competitive but also people-centered and sustainable. And also, aside from ASEAN Summit, which he will attend, he will also attend the sidelines at that summit, particularly the 16th Brunei Darussalam Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East ASEAN Growth Area or BIMP IAGA Summit, which President Marcos Jr. will spearhead. The second and also the second ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council Summit and the ASEAN GCC China Summit. And the president will also hold several bilateral meetings and participate in various leaders' engagements. So, in speaking of tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, President Marcos Jr. had initial discussion with Malaysian Prime Minister Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim on how ASEAN should respond to the tariffs imposed by the United States. So the president emphasized that ASEAN must take into account the diverse circumstances of its member state in responding to that issue, and as well as the tariff schedule imposed by the United States. And also, the chief executive also noted the need for the bloc to find a way to find consensus to resolve that issue among different member states. And earlier last month, ASEAN economic ministers has expressed concern over the recent introduction of unilateral tariffs by the United States. So that's causing uncertainty and bringing significant challenges to businesses, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as to global trade dynamics. So if you can recall, the Philippines has received 17% tariff rate from the United States, while Singapore received more than 70%, as and some other ASEAN countries has received more than 17% of tariff rate. Though it's already in negotiation phase, so they're going to meet up with President Trump in the hopefully by this year or after. Okay, so but before we go to another topic, so Front and Center will return after these short messages.
Pinangunahan ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ang seremonya ng pagtatapos ng PMA Siklab Laya Class of 2025 at binigyang pugay ang kanilang disiplina, sakripisyo at pagmamahal sa bayan.
We all know your path was not easy. 4 years of discipline, training, hard work, and I'm sure some nights of self-doubt wondering if this was the right choice. But you did not give up, and now you are here, ready to serve the country as new officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Kayo ng Siklablaya, sundalong isinilang, nakasangga at lakas ng ating bayan para sa kalayaan.
Binigyang katiyakan ng Pangulo sa mga kadeteng nagsipagtapos na buo ang tiwalang ibinibigay sa kanila bilang mga susunod na tagapagtanggol ng bandila at taong bayan.
This is my prayer to the members of Siklablaya. Wherever your duty may take, may it be in the mountains, in the seas, or communities, serve with dignity, serve with honor, serve with love.
Para sa iba pang mga balita at impormasyon, manatiling nakatuto. Tapat sa pag-uulat. Radyo Pilipinas, Radyo Publiko 738.
Time to celebrate kulturang Pinoy, tradisyon, musika, sining, literatura at iba pa. Anything and everything fun and Filipino. Ito ang Pinoy Kultura.
Flight PR 1043, now boarding.
Hey, that's us!
Vacation, here we go! Always love flying the first and oldest commercial airline in Asia, our very own flag carrier, Philippine Airlines.
Dreaming of love while cruising at high altitudes. Did you know this track was specifically made for Philippine Airlines back in the 70s? Composed by Jose Marichan and arranged by Ryan Cayabyab. Closer to heaven with 30,000 feet.
Brings back good old memories, at the same time, creating new ones with a new generation.
Oo, ang ganda pa naman ng kanta. Leave all your worries as we soar over the clouds.
I don't know about you, but I always feel a sense of pride every time I see our flag carrier on airports or up flying high in the sky.
They'll be shooting stars through time and space.
Yan ang Pinoy Kultura, because our culture is cool.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome back to Front and Center with me, your host, Jerome Toledo. So, there's a development this week that a certain group called Atin Ito Coalition will conduct its third mission on the West Philippine Sea, and we'll check if this is the same mission that they've conducted last 2023 to 2024. So I have here on the line is the co-convener of the Atin Ito Coalition, Mr. Ed De La Torre. Mr. Ed, good morning. Thank you for joining in the program. This is Jerome Toledo of Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning, Jerome.
Okay, thank you for joining us. So, third mission on the West Philippine Sea will be conducted by the Atin Ito Coalition. So, can you tell us about this mission that will be conducted by the Atin Ito Coalition, Mr. Ed?
Yeah, as you said, it's a third mission because in 2023, a group of citizens, some of them former activists like myself, and others are just creatives, and a few business people who prefer to remain anonymous because they still have business in China.
Right.
We're concerned that the issue on the West Philippine Sea and the Chinese incursion into our exclusive economic zone is being left only to the government to do something about it. So we said, can't we, citizens of various levels, ordinary citizens, intellectuals, professionals, and even some of our elite who say, can we do something within our capacity? So we thought initially in 2023 to do a simple mission of
Mm-hmm.
collecting Christmas gifts to fisher folk and the Coast Guard. They were the initial frontliners we thought of. And then someone said, oh no, let's go as far as the BRP Sierra Madre. And we tried that, but the Chinese blocked us. So we switched to Lawak Island and they again blocked us. So
Mm-hmm.
but we
Mm-hmm.
were able to bring some and then left others for the Navy to supply. And
Uh-huh.
then last year, we were told, what about the fisher folk in Bajo de Masinloc? They've been also blocked. Again, we were blocked there, but we were able to send one solitary boat with food and fuel.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to reach closer to Bajo de Masinloc and gave gifts to the fisher folk. And
Yeah.
the rest are just well, stayed. We didn't want to confront the Chinese. Who
Yeah.
there were
Mm-hmm.
quite a number
Right.
of them, more than a few dozens. But so this year they said, can we do something that is less confrontational,
Mm-hmm.
but still asserting our rights? So we said, someone thought of the bright idea that, hey, why don't we do culture? Filipinos love to sing, and
Yeah.
music can unite. So we said, okay, let's try it. A concert at sea for peace. And we added solidarity. We reached out to Malaysians and Indonesians and other nearby countries affected, and some Koreans and Japanese also joined us. So today, I am now speaking from El Nido. We're on the shore team,
Mm.
mobilizing the other artists who flew in here, and we are going to board the MV Felix Oka, which
Mm.
has arrived
Mm-hmm.
an hour earlier from Manila, a
Okay.
24-hour visit
All right.
voyage, and we will have our concert this afternoon, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, which hopefully will be live streamed without interference
Okay.
to our
Mm-hmm. Right.
fellow Filipinos, so that they can share the spirit of, hey, let's assert our rights, but we'll do it peacefully. And we don't want war, we don't want escalation, and
Mm.
definitely we don't want to militarize the conflict.
Uh-huh.
Let us civilianize it.
Okay. Since you, Mr. Ed, you mentioned about this activity, so this is going to be a cultural one. So who are the participants on this third mission on
Well,
this
obviously,
yeah, on the West
in
Philippine Sea?
addition usual volunteers we had before, a lot of young people, students, a lot of NGO workers,
Mm-hmm.
some of the Akbayan youth and Akbayan party leaders. But more important, we got our performing artists. Of course, Noel Cabangon is a well-known folk singer. But we also have Evidancel, a very well-known former sugar-free soloist.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an interesting group from Mindanao. They said, sali kami. They're
Yeah.
Moro Beach. It's a rap group, a whole dozen of them. But
Mm.
then, and more important, my gosh, we got a Malaysian singer, we got an
Mm.
Indonesian singer, we got a Korean, an all-girl Korean pop group,
Mm.
including an
Okay.
old Filipino K-pop group. Oh, by the way, we also met them for the first time. I'm excited. It's a Rouge all-girl band, including one of their lead members said, Ed, I am concerned about the environment. They're destroying the corals in the West Philippine Sea. And
Mm-hmm.
an interesting one is a Japanese artist who used when he was younger to join our Filipino Big Brother TV show in the Philippines, and now
Uh-huh.
he's based in Japan. And he has come. I met him yesterday, and he's all going to join the concert. So interesting mix of artists. Again, we just want to have a different way to communicate our
Mm-mm.
message that we assert our rights, but we will do it peacefully. And why don't we try culture? Why we do people-to-people exchange? Let's have civilian-to-civilian discussions.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
that
see.
that to military confrontation.
Okay, so that's a very interesting mission for the third time, Mr. Ed. So you mentioned that there's a Malaysian, there's a Korean, and as well as there are some groups that will be on board on that ship. By the way, what's this? It's a civilian ship that they will be onboarding.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a training ship for our seafarers.
Ah.
Captain Felix Oka, owned by Amosup. They were our ship in 2023, and we're
Mm.
very happy that they again agreed to offer their ship. Of course, we don't have the money to pay for it, so some secret supporters said, we'll just pay for it, just don't tell them who gave the money because
Oh.
we have business in China.
All right. Okay. So yeah, given that more people will be joining in this mission, Mr. Ed. So is there uh, any coordination with the Philippine National Police as well as Philippine Navy, Philippine Coast Guard to ensure the safety of everyone that will be onboarding and will be joining in this mission on the West Philippine Sea?
Oh yes, of course. Although it is, and we always want to say this is a strictly civilian initiative. This is not a government initiative, but we coordinated with the government, the Task Force on West Philippine Sea, and the National Security Council to tell them, hey, look, our intentions are clear. We don't want to embarrass government. We don't want to kind of escalate the tensions, but we want to assert our rights as citizens. And so we will coordinate with you. And to their credit, the Coast Guard said, look, our duty is to protect our civilians. In case you need us, we will just be sailing at a discreet distance in case you need us. But yes, generally, we have contingency planning. We don't want confrontation. In fact, we even sent a formal letter to Chinese embassy inviting them if they want to join. We can send one of
Okay.
your singers, but I doubt if they will send anyone.
Okay.
Anyway, let's hope for the best, and we hope there will be no untoward incident. And more important, we're praying for good weather because weather might be our problem here. It's raining now, but later we hope that the sun will rise as usually it does in the El Nido and the Pag-asa area.
Okay. So I'm down to my last one question. I'm afraid we don't have much time, Mr. Ed. But yeah, this is the third time that Atenito Coalition will conduct civilian mission at the West Philippine Sea. So this time, do you believe that Filipinos will be aware or will be cognizant of what Atenito's coalition is doing and what they're standing up for?
Yeah, we're quite pleased that in various surveys, a majority of the Filipinos emotionally really can relate to the fact that we are asserting our rights and we resent the kind of Chinese intrusion into our exclusive economic zone. But beyond that, we go to the various campuses and offer kind of information. And this kind of, let's call it demonstrative action, it's important because people don't just listen to speeches or read pamphlets. When something happens, then they get curious and they want us to explain. And we're going to shoot videos and kind of propagate them among various campuses, but also through social media. So the concert this evening and in Pag-asa, weather and technology permitting, will be live streamed and can be followed on Facebook. So please watch and offer your prayers for good weather and for peace. We don't want any untoward incident. Thank you.
Okay. Just one point, Mr. Ed, before I let you go. Okay, so in the near future, beyond this missions in the West Philippine Sea, so do you see the Atenito Coalition coordinating and collaborating with some government agencies like National Security Council, Philippine National Police, as well as the Armed Forces of the Philippines to conduct some kind of information drive so that Filipino people will be aware of what we are standing up for?
Yes, we will do that. Sometimes it's like a tag team. They give their own information in campuses and we follow with our own. We are coordinate also with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. We generate funds to offer payaws, fish aggregating device to the fisher folk, and they also ask them to offer them. So it's an interesting, rare, and welcome collaboration between civil society, including those of us who have a history of kind of critical of government stance, to find common ground now on this major issue. So it's a welcome blessing, and we hope we can continue into the future. Thank you.
All right, and we look forward to that, Mr. Ed. So, and thank you so much for joining in the program for explaining this activity that will be conducting by the Atenito Coalition. So, thank you, Mr. Ed De La Torre, the co-convener of the Atenito Coalition.
Thank you.
And with that, we conclude this edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our production team and technical personnel here at Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay, love the Philippines.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.